one of the things I think we can be very, very certain about when it comes to San Diego Comic Con or even New York Comic Con, mostly San Diego though, is the announcement of upcoming movies as well as the showcase of certain trailers. And we got a decent amount of trailers, I will put it that way. I'm probably getting more as we speak. But the ones that stuck out to me, the ones that are really getting people talking a little bit, are from DC Universe. Well, at least going to be streaming on the DC Universe. Is Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is going to be an adult animated series, and I can already tell we're going to probably get some LGBTQ between her and Ivy, her and Poison Ivy, because Poison Ivy is going to be a focus character here. And this looks like it's going to be honestly a good animated series. Who knows what they're going to do with it? It's going to be crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if they do the slime girl thing with Harley and Poison Ivy, where they get both, if not one of them, gets temporarily infected by a slime virus or some kind of virus that turns them into a slime girl, and they get a kick out of it. They have fun with it. And that had been mostly in Harley's department, if you think about it. They do show how she becomes Harley Quinn. She goes from Dr. Quinn to Harley Quinn. That's in the trailer. So Harley Quinn to me looks like it's going to be a fun adult animated show for the DC Universe, and I would not be surprised if maybe the CW wants to pick up on it, or HBO Max wants to take a stab at it in the future. I would not be surprised. But the other trailer that they showed, and I'm just going to talk about 3 because again, they got probably a plethora of trailers out there now. In fact, I'll take a look right now. But the next one I want to talk about, you want to talk about feeling old? This one will do it. This one will do it, and I'm looking online here to see if there's anything else that came out. Trying to see if there's any other announcements, trailers. Doesn't look like there is. Not that I see. I don't see anything here. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't see anything here. So anyway, like I said, the other one really makes me feel old because this movie, the first movie, came out when I was 7 years old. Yeah, Top Gun. This is the 30th anniversary edition. And I don't think they're talking about Maverick here or anything, but yeah. Top Gun Maverick comes out next year around the summer of summer of next year. Might be moved up because to me, just from the trailer alone, it looks like it's already mostly done. So I think it might get moved up to possibly May, maybe April. I would not be surprised. But then again, it'd be going up against Black Widow if it does. But anyway, yeah, Top Gun Maverick is the sequel to Top Gun. So I was just looking over there for a second. at something. But like I said, it's the sequel to Top Gun, the 1986 film. Yeah. Like I said, it makes me feel old because in just 4.5 days, 3.5, about 4 days, I'm going to be 40 years old. 40. And this trailer for this 2020 release came out in 2019. 33 years after. They even acknowledged that somewhat in the trailer, that it's been 30-something years. So at least they're trying to portray it in real time. But this, getting a sequel released basically 34 years later, makes me feel old. I don't look it, but it makes me feel old because I'm going to be going on 41 years old when that thing comes out. Or when this movie comes out. And to me, now I know how people feel when there's follow-ups or sequels to movies that came out back when I was a kid. You know, what I'm talking about is back when I was a teen and a kid, there'd be follow-ups and sequels to movies that came out 30, 20 years prior, before I was even born. There's a lot of people now that were born in 86 that have kids of their own that are probably in their teens, if not their preteens. So yeah, knowing this is getting a sequel 34 years later is going to make me and anybody else feel old, even though we don't look it. But from what I can tell, it's probably going to be a good movie. It'd probably be one of the summer's, I wouldn't say gigantic blockbusters of 2020, the summer of 2020, but I'd say it's going to bring in a decent amount of money. I'll put it that way. Then the last one I want to talk about. Last one I want to talk about is the one that's really got people up in the air. And I think it's mostly because of the way the characters are designed. It's a mixture of live action and CGI. Basically, Taylor Swift's character reminds fans of Selena Kyle's transformation in the Tigra episode of Batman the Animated Series. Of course, I'm talking about the movie adaptation of Cats. And I'm going to say this. I might be in the minority, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with this. This is one of those theatrical movie musicals that happens every few years. The last one to get something like that was The Greatest Showman. Yeah. The Greatest Showman ended up getting something like this a couple years ago. And then before that, we had another big screen adaptation of Les Miserables, something like that. So we've had a history where every few years, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe decade long, maybe 10 years long, decade if you will, gap that will once in a while, basically once in a while, I will put it this way, to round it out, I would say between 5 to a decade's worth, 5 to 10 years, every 5 to 10 years we're going to get a few musicals put in the theaters. And most times these musicals are going to be based off Broadway musicals, and sometimes they might be original ideas. The point is, I'm going to probably be in the minority when I say that I don't think I don't really see anything wrong with this movie. I mean, I know a lot of people might be turned off by the designs because it's like, really? You go in this route instead of making it fully CGI animated? Yeah, well, here's the thing. If you go CGI animated fully, then you might still capture the spirit and the essence of the Cats musical. But what they're doing here is they're doing a hybrid to where it looks like it's the play, it's the Broadway play on a bigger, well, obviously it is the Broadway play with a bigger budget and more well-renowned named actors and actresses. Or celebrities, that is. You know, Jennifer Hudson, she's no stranger to this. Check out her work in Dreamgirls. Taylor Swift's gonna be kind of new at this, but I think she's acted before. Rebel Wilson is gonna be good. You know, she's usually good for comedic relief and singing. Ian McKellen. Sir Ian McKellen is in this. He'll probably play a good part. I mean, some of them are basically actors and actresses that are known for their singing. And they could act if given the right kind of direction. So, to me, I don't really have any problems with Cats. I don't. Because what I see here is someone trying to, especially when it comes to the design and the presentation, basically, like I said, it's just the musical on a bigger budget. And the reason the characters look the way they do is to kind of pay homage to how the people are dressed on the Broadway play. To basically pay homage, I should say, to those that play the characters on Broadway. That's why the designs of the characters themselves look kind of off-putting to people, but that's basically paying homage to how the characters are dressed up in the Broadway musical. The actual Broadway musical. And when you think about it, putting on that much makeup and everything, that much prosthetics and makeup and all that to look like a feline or a cat person is a lot harder than what they did here. It's a lot harder than what they did here. But what they're doing is paying homage to those Broadway costumes by basically doing the CGI motion capture on these actors and actresses and singers that are in this film. And again, it may be off-putting to a lot of people, but I think it's going to be okay in the end. I think as time goes on, we're going to get a better idea what this movie is really going to be about. I mean, yes, it is based off Cats. It's basically the musical come to the big screen. But usually we know that when musicals or anything gets adapted to the big screen, usually there's some additional elements put into it. So we can probably see what additional elements those might be. But to me, again, I don't see anything really wrong. What I see here is them paying homage with the designs of the characters to the Broadway costumes. That's what I see. I don't see nothing really wrong with it. So, and honestly, I think Cats is going to be a smash this year. It may not be, people may not like what they're seeing now, but remember, trailers are not always fully complete. Are not, usually the first trailer, I should say, the first trailer of any kind usually shows what the movie's going to be like, but nothing fully completely rendered or complete. Don't ask me. Sonic the Hedgehog was supposed to come out in November. It got pushed to February. What does that tell you? Anyway, just thought I'd come on here and kind of give you my thoughts on these three trailers that were released during Comic-Con, and basically why two of them are going to be good and why one of them will be good but makes me feel old, you know. So let me know what you guys all think though down below. Comment if you like. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it, about these trailers. What are your thoughts on Harley Quinn? What are your thoughts on Top Gun Maverick? And what are your thoughts on Cats? Comment down below. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to y'all later.